Welcome to The Secret Life of Therapists. I'm your host, Dr. Habiba Saman. I have my beautiful co-host, Kaylin Maloney, here with me.
Yeah.
And today's, I guess, the topic that we're evaluating, we're kind of curious about what it means when you think you knew somebody, you think you knew who they were and what they represented for you and how they showed up for you, and then you're like, but you changed. But did they? Did they change or did you? So that's the topic of conversation today.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think even recently, I've had those kind of moments with my clients, and they're just like, I can't believe, and I'm like, why not? Why? What's changed? Because this has been a pattern, so we go through like the history of the things and whatever. And they're like, well, I guess it has always been there. Okay, so why does it feel different now?
Yeah,
because you're different now. So I think that's so important that we don't even recognize that we are changing,
right,
in those kind of ways. And maybe we want to change in that way, but we don't recognize the change that we're having until something comes up.
Right.
Which is what I also tell my clients. Like, it's not going to be like, I'm on the other side now, so I'm just right here. Like, you're not going to feel it until you kind of.
But do you even feel it, right? Like, I tell my clients, because this is my reality, you know, every day you kind of chug along, you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're moving.
Yes.
But everything seems the same, right? Until one day you look back and then you realize how far you've actually come.
Yeah. Something
how
happens.
Much things have changed.
Usually for me, it's something happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Something has to happen. It doesn't have to be big. It can be, maybe I just respond in a different way in a conversation or something. And that's how I can tell.
And you're like, oh, wait. Huh.
I have those moments. I just had it today. I was talking to my sister on the phone. It was just like, And I didn't feel guilty. So that's the added piece for me, because I am such a helper, fixer, peacemaker within my family. I usually would feel very bad that I'm not like giving solutions and trying to help. And essentially the help is more of like, I'm trying to like relieve someone of whatever feeling they're going through or whatever distress that they're in. I'm like, okay, well, I can do this to help you not be in this state anymore.
Yeah.
And when I realized that it was taking a toll on me, I'm like, okay, I gotta start scaling this back. But even with me trying to scale it back, I would feel so bad. It would really feel like I'm like not doing my part.
Right.
My dad would say, he still does, but he would say like, they're going to continue to live without you. Like, it's okay. And I never would think about it in that way of like, they can't live their life without my assistance. It was more like, do they have other people in their lives who can help them in the way that I can help them in that way? Like, I know they can continue to live, but if I can get you to the gas station in 5 minutes versus you waiting 30 minutes, right? So it's more like that. Like, I know it can be done, but if I'm able to do the thing, I know I can probably do it more efficiently or without as much stress. You don't have to ask as many questions. Like, it's just kind of handled. But today, I was like, wow, girl.
And I think that evolution as a human being, right, as Kaylin, all the things that required from the one that would be like, that's fine, I'll be there in 30 minutes, regardless of what I have going on, to take care of you.
Yeah. Versus
the now being the Kaylin that's like, no, you'll actually be fine. And the reasons for getting to a point where you're fine, I think a big part of that, this is new. This is why I'm kind of jumping all over the place with whatever, because this is a new understanding and unfolding for me.
For me, for sure. For sure.
Where, you know, I say this in just about every one of my episodes, where our perception of life changes, of our values changes every 5 years or so, right? And it's not 0 to 5, 5 to 10,
right,
but it is along that range. So like right around 40, you know, there was a new change. Right around 35, whether it was 33 or 37, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Or for you, right around 32, 33, right? Like a huge shift in relationships happened for you.
Yeah.
And I teach that shit all the time. But what I'm talking about is how I'm realizing now that what my definition definition of safety was,
Mm-hmm.
is those same behaviors now is not safety, it's neglect. It's
Wow. It's interesting that it's a total opposite for you now.
right. Because, you know, so many different things, right? Gabor-Mate, love him. I'm supposed to meet him. But whatever. I digress. Love him. He's like, never mind. I was gonna say something. I'm like, that's not nice. We're not gonna assume how old he might be, and I'm still like, oh god, wow, that brain, right? And the voice,
Yes.
whatever. Either way, he said, and he was like, this is very minimalized, but it is true. And all the years of work that he's done, and all the studies that he's been a part of, or whatever, and all the people that he works with, right?
Yeah.
And he said, you really have three options. As you evolve, whether you evolve upwards or downwards, right? Because it's not linear.
Right.
You might take 2 steps forward and then 3 back.
Mm-hmm.
The people in your life, they're either growing with you, up or down, or they're fighting your growth. Right? So either you guys grow together, or you guys grow apart.
Yes.
Or you let each other go. Does that make sense? It builds resentment because the understanding's not there.
Yeah.
You're not viewing the same person the same way. So if you think of a relationship where, if I had a friendship where, or even like my sister, for example, she's like, what do you want to do? You do whatever you want to do, right? At some point, it could feel like she's very flexible with me. Because I'm the one with the kids, I'm the one with the business, I'm the one with the very rigid schedule, and hers is a work schedule, let's say, right? Where she's like, I know I'll be done with work by 10 p.m. Whatever the rest of your life looks like, you let me know.
Yeah.
Right? That feels like flexibility. That almost feels like respecting my responsibilities.
I can see where you're going.
Right? And that they're taking that into account and valuing my time. Until there's enough of that where you're like, I don't need to. You let me know. Because I don't want to always be the one making the decisions. And then they can't.
Yeah.
Or they don't. So what I mistook as flexibility and respect and accountability and respect of my time is actually lack of effort and lack of a desire to invest.
Yeah.
Right? So people who don't invest show up as, you do whatever you want. Yeah. You're the one with the kids. You're the one with the life. You're the one with da-da-da. You're, right? It's like, and it feels
easy cover for them.
Right. And if you come from relationships or an upbringing where there was a lot of chaos, or it was a lot of control, maybe, right? Or it was either a matriarchal or patriarchal family where they made all the decisions and there wasn't any input, that really feels like, wow, this person's really giving me space and room and respect and all these things. But it's not. Right? It's their lack of investment. Yeah. Right? Which then eventually feels like neglect.
Yeah. Because then you're carrying it.
Always.
Yeah.
Because when things stabilize for you, or for your situation, and the kids go off to college, or they're just old enough to where you can have more free time, and then your job is more stable, so you're like, hey, I have all this free time, what do you want to do? And then they're still not willing to invest the time or the energy of making plans with you, making any kind of decisions where both of you guys are in it together, then you see how there was no effort there in the first place.
Yeah. That is a tough one for sure. When I think about it in that way as well, so when I go backwards some, it's like, okay, this behavior has always been there, right? But like you said, that point in my life, necessary. I benefited from it, it was good. But then also like, if this has always been here, then
this is you.
What else have I? Yeah, this is you. And then what else have I been missing here? Because if I'm carrying this whole thing this whole time, do you even really want to be here? Are you just here for convenience? Like, it just, for me, it makes me end up questioning more about what their intentions are. Because if this is your kind of cop out of like, oh, you have the kids, it's like, okay, well, are you just putting it out there, like getting together just to say you're doing your part as whatever?
Yeah, because on the surface, it's like, but I'm together they stay.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only investment that I made.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, does that make sense?
Yes,
where
the
they put in
follow-through
just
still
enough
lands on you.
to where they can gaslight you, basically, to say, no, I do put in effort because look.
Yeah, and then but you're still left to follow it through, to
Right.
carry it through, I guess I should say. Yeah.
There's also in the household. I'm laughing because I'm obnoxious. Where, of course, I come home from the office and whichever baby's downstairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how was your day, mommy? They're out from school. They do jack shit all day. Like, absolutely nothing all day except play on their video games, play with their toy, whatever. Right? We know this, but still, conversation, right?
Yeah.
And so they'll give me some antidote in the beginning. First, they're like, just like, fine. Like, and what was exciting for today? What was annoying for today? What was whatever, to get their brains out of the fine. And know we're having a conversation, we're connecting. Right? This is a bid for connection.
Yes.
And then they'll tell me all kinds of stuff. Like, today, my little man, he was cooking lunch. And he was like, do you want me to make you ramen too? And I was like, no, I'm eating the soup that I made. And he was like, okay, great. He's like, do you know what happened in Switzerland? He was like, I was at the top of the mountain. It was cold as fuck. Right? So again, connection, right? Because it's true connection. He's telling me a story and he's connecting it to the moment right here, right? I'm engaged with him.
Yeah.
Apparently he went to the top of the mountain. It was cold as fuck. And they had either sausages or mama noodles, of all things. And he was like, obviously I'm going to say yes to mine. And he was cooking mama noodles today.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what?
How
In
random is that?
Switzerland? He was like, yeah, at the top of the mountain.
Wow.
Those were your only two options. He was like, so of course I went with the soup. He was like, it was the most watered down, tasteless thing I've ever had.
Oh my gosh, the disappointment. I'm thinking about to get warm and comfortable and fuzzy, and it's just hot water.
So then he tells me that. I was like, okay, that's great. And then I let them tell me about all of that. We have our little moment. And then I'm obnoxious because I'm just like, and this is where you ask mommy, how was mommy's day today? Right? And they're like, yeah, how was your day today? And I was like, and be curious about it. And the reason I'm obnoxious with it is social skills. Teaching them social skills. Teaching them how to be men. Right? Because they're boys, so teaching them how to be men in the future and show interest and put in effort.
Yeah.
Right? And be invested in the human beings around you. So one of the things that I say in session, because this is very important for me, is how are you guys connecting during the day? Because people cop out, like you were saying, is this just a cop out? By being like, how was your day? Oh, it was good. And then there's no other follow-up question. There's no other, because there's no curiosity. There's actually no curiosity about the
just
life.
being cordial. I'm asking because I'm supposed to ask.
I'm supposed to ask. So that, let's say that couple then goes into couples therapy, and then whichever party's doing this is not a man thing or a woman thing, but whoever's doing but I did. I asked you how your day was while I was staring at my phone.
Yeah.
Like, not even making eye contact, not even looking at your direction.
Yes.
Right? And not seeing anything wrong with it. They're like, no, I am invested. I ask you every single day how your day at work was. You just don't tell me anything.
I was going to say, then the reflection becomes, if you wanted me to know, then you would have said.
Right. And, I struggle, we've talked about this many, many times, how I struggle with, and if you're that unhappy, why didn't you just leave? Right? Because I fell for this person for a reason. I would like for that reason to come back.
Yeah.
And then there's the investment bias, right? I've invested all of this time and energy and life force and blah, blah, blah with this relationship. So make it work.
Yeah.
Right? And having the hope that it'll make it work. But it's and this is what Gabor was saying, when you are somebody who has looked past that, where that was probably there in the beginning, but you witness that kind of, hey, how's it going? And they just let you go through whatever and just keep talking as stability.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're not attacking you. Which, this is so sad, is the realization that I've been having, because you're like, oh, we had this whole conversation, and I spoke 90% of the time. Oh, well, they're just not a strong speaker. They're just more quiet. They're just, like, as a personality, right, they just don't talk that much. They're more stoic. No, that's emotional unavailability and lack of effort and lack of interest.
Yeah.
But for someone, again, who has been in relationships from childhood or in romantic relationships where there was chaos and control. Where if I was, and I have been in these relationships where they would be like, "How was your day at work?" And I'm like, "It was good, but I was so frustrated because this client, da 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 da." And I got so upset, and I got so hurt, and I got so angry. And then they will cut me off and say, "Well, you just don't need to be so invested in your client's lives," and completely dismiss the reason that or they'll cut me off and then say, "Well, you should have just done it, da 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 da." And then it becomes like, I don't even want to talk to you about my day. Because then your opinions are going to just be combative.
Yeah, it just feels like you're ridiculing me right now.
Yes.
Or criticizing how I'm doing my things. And that is a really big trick. Like, real big trick for me. And pet peeve. If I'm talking to you, I don't like, it's not that I'm always right, even though I am. It's not that I'm always right. It's just like, when I'm talking though, and I don't need the critique. Because you can hear it and be like, "Dang, like you really in that? Maybe, take in like a step back or something in that way. Like we can talk through it, but for it to be like you still need to do this right here." Who then sets me off? Because I'm like, but you want me to do that with your ass all the fucking time. Everybody does, right? But I'm not supposed to do that in other spaces. That's when I really, so again, things happening, right, for me to have my own recognition where and I would, of course, the science in me is like, I'm going to do an experiment. So I would do all kinds of tests with people in my family, and I would just be like, that's a good time for a test. And I would just do it right then and there. It would be like, so with this particular topic, I've had these tests, I've done them rather, probably more times than I care to admit. But it's been very much like, I wonder if I don't say anything, what are they going to say? If I just sit right here and just be just this kind of void, and just kind of hollow into whatever, what are they going to say?
Right.
Or
what are you looking for?
Me?
When you do that,
to see if they're listening to me. Because if I'm talking and then you just, oh my god, girl, damn.
Right.
But then once you started talking and you just da-da-da-da-da-da-da,
right.
That means you do have more to say. You can say more, but you're choosing not to say more.
Lack of investment.
Yes.
I keep saying that, but because that's what I'm realizing is how little other people invest.
But again, that's what I'm saying, relating to where you were, like before, right? In the moment, it's 90% I'm talking.
Yes.
So I'm thinking like they're listening at this or that. But then when I do the experiment, when I'm just like short, so it's on my end, the response is different. So I'll go from 90% to 10. So how's your day? It's good. Wasn't too bad. I mean, can't complain. Gas is crazy. Simple shit. Oh, I hope we're okay. Are we okay?
Yes.
Yes.
I think.
I hope so.
I don't know. We did that before. Remember when we recorded and then it went to like sleep? A screensaver, yeah. Oh. But it kept doing. Let's hope so. If not, I guess that's the end of it.
Yeah. So do better, guys. So
our mics are still green.
So I hope it still goes.
I really
hope so.
Let's just you and I keep talking like we always do, anyways.
So I'm short. I'm 10%. So then they're like, yeah, wow. I mean, that is kind of Oh my God, let me tell you, my neighbor, and then it just so they are now 90%.
Instead of gas isn't saying, oh my God, do you know how much I paid for gas the other day? Which is fine because we're still elaborating on what you just said. It's still the same. I'm connecting with you on how stupid gas prices. $5. $5. And Nicole, I texted her and she was like, $5.13 for me. And I was like, why did we let it go on fumes this far into the city?
Yeah, it's trying to delay. I just don't want to see the numbers, but they're there.
Like that, right? And we can laugh about it and whatever, and then see if you say something else, or then I'll say something else. But it's still, the connection is there. There's a connection. And you can't be connected to the person without investment.
Yeah. But then I take it a step further because I recognize there is no real investment because it's not specifically for them.
Yes.
I'm like, well, then y'all don't give a fuck about me, so that's cool.
But
it don't be, I know, I take it too far.
I don't think so. And the reason I say I don't think so is, I said this to, I'm itching right now. Because I said it to a client where they asked me, how do you connect with somebody? And I was like, you listen to them, active listening, you comment back on what you heard, right? And then you see if there's something that joins the both of you together. Did this whole fucking exercise. And then they were still like, yeah, but. And then I stopped. This is just, y'all, you know me. You know me. At this point, I was like, you just have to give a fuck.
Yeah.
You have to give a fuck about the other person and what they're saying.
Yeah.
And there was no eloquent way of saying that anymore after the 3 different ways that I gave all these examples on what this is supposed to look like. Because I think the person is trying to get away from having to be accountable for I don't care.
Yeah.
And they said that at that point, but I really don't care about what people are saying most of the time. Okay, then that is what we need to work on.
Yes.
Not let's fake connection.
Yes.
Because that's a whole nother podcast about
you
my
can't even connect unless you care. What the fuck?
Because then, to your point, then y'all just don't care. They don't. Because if you do, like when you care, you actually care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The guest that I had earlier today that I was telling you about, and he was so sweet at the end of it. He was just like, your people must love you. He's like, you're so genuine, and it's like everything that you say is so real, and it's so like you were here with me. I could feel it, and I was like, because I do.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. You can tell when people give a fuck. I cared about his story. I cared about what he's going through. I cared about whatever I challenged and whatever I taught, or whatever. Right? Because I care.
Which is why it makes me so frustrated when it's like you're talking about your day, or I'm talking about my day, and you shouldn't even be that invested. Like it's this, and it's like.
But they say that to make themselves feel better, or make it seem like then they've added something of value. So now we can be done with that. Does that make sense?
Almost like it's too heavy for them.
Yes. Like the person that I was telling you about, like who had said to me, and he came back years later. Because we dated for a little bit, and then we just remained friends afterwards. Because that was one of the reasons why I was like, I can't date you. I just can't. I don't have the bandwidth for someone constantly attacking me. He's like, I'm not attacking you. And I was like, whether that's me being triggered because of my unhealed shit, or you need to work on the way you word shit, whatever the case is, this is too much emotions for me, and I can't. I don't have the bandwidth for it right now.
Yeah.
And we just stayed friends after a while. And he told me a couple of years later, he was just like, I know what you meant. I was like, what do you mean? What the fuck are you talking about? And he was like, why you broke up with me? I was like, don't do that. What are you talking about? And he was just like, no. I always felt like I needed to do something to alleviate your pain. So I would say whatever I could say to give you a solution.
Yeah.
So yes, you could get over it instead of just being with you for whatever your frustration is, and just letting you have your frustration and telling you that I'm here for you.
Yeah.
He was like, you spend all day long, and then afterwards with your kids trying to make everybody's lives better. I just wanted to be the one to make yours better, and then I ended up losing you in the process.
Yeah, wrong direction.
But self-awareness.
Very big realization.
Yes. And so, like, that's, if he had that back then, it might have been different.
Yeah.
It might have turned out different. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Probably not. But I don't know if, even at that time, I was clearly rejecting solutions, right? As I perceive that as control. Does that make sense? Someone's trying to control my narrative because of the relationship I had left, my long-term relationship that I had gotten out of. Because everything was control. Everything was manipulation. So his advice, right, felt like control and dismissiveness when it was his insecurity and trying to help. I probably still react that way now. If I'm like I was telling you about the stuff earlier today with simple practice and whatever, and if you're like, well, you should have just had them fill out a form, I'll probably still stop talking to you because that's so dismissive.
So I obviously my brain is running, but it's like I'm understanding, I think, or I'm hacking, I guess, mentally as you're talking of why that dismissiveness and critique thing bothers me so bad in that way, just like the shutdown. And I think it's because I am so sensitive to being controlled. There's like this thing of, you don't know all the fucking extra, shut the fuck up. It's like, that's my immediate response.
That was
that's my immediate response.
When I broke up with this person, that is what came out my mouth. Yeah. I remember exactly the day. I remember what car I was driving. I can tell you where I was. 285 Jimmy Carter.
Wow.
Because that was such a significant moment where I was just like, I need to learn to just be like, no, thank you. Thank you, next. Right? So that was my moment of, again, practicing what I preach, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's showing you, and if you don't want to feel this way, stop dragging the relationship around to making it into something and just accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
So that was like a big aha moment for me, which is why I still remember exactly where I was when I made this decision. I was driving. But I told him, I was like, you are not an entrepreneur. You are not a therapist. You don't get to tell me what this feels like.
Yes.
And I was like, that was the first time where I was like, I'm done letting other people define my experience for me. Did it stop there? I wish.
Of course, never.
But it was the first time. It was the first time where I was like, no, I'm done letting people define my experience for me.
So mine is more of validate my experience. So I can identify my experience, but mine is more of, am I tripping? Mine is more of that. So I do a lot of second guessing
whether or not you trust yourself.
Yeah, is this okay? So like for in that direction of the entrepreneurship, and I was thinking of, when I was having this idea of like going into private practice, my dad, as I've told you, like he's had his own business forever and a day, but my mom has always worked W-2, right? So 1099 W-2, completely different life. So when I'm talking to, and on my dad's side, it's a lot of 1099s. On my mom's side, it's all W-2s. Like with military, retirement, like everything is your pension, right? So it's a very traditional American way of kind of being, I guess.
Right.
And so when I was talking about wanting to get into private practice at some point in my life, the first thing that my mom came up to me was like, well, how are you going to do that? Because you need health insurance. And then if you decide to have kids, what are you going to do about the kids? And if the money, like if you don't make it this, and so it just became kind of all these, now granted my mom can be a little pessimist, but it just became this kind of constant thing of, here's how these is either not going to work or it's going to make it much harder than it needs to be versus you just doing this W-2.
Yeah.
So I went over to, I talked to, obviously both parents, I talked to my dad, and he might be biased, but he also was just like, yeah, I mean, you're going to have some times where you loan money, but if you manage your money like you're supposed to, it's like businesses are not around because they're always making a significant profit.
Right.
That's just not how it works. Right. He's like, so he gave me a lot of insight on just how to be realistic about my own expectations of myself, what am I capable of doing, and understanding that with entrepreneurship, you're going to have to do more.
Yes.
But you have to decide,
right?
Is that worth it for you? It's not a business venture. It's not an adventure journey. This is a life change.
Right.
And he's like, so if you're going to do it, yes. He's like, so if you're going to do it, you need to understand that this is like a true lifestyle change. This is not just a, I'm gonna jump my hand, figure this out.
Right.
And so, and then as he's talking, I'm like, okay. So paying attention to the messenger. So being able to talk to people who can relate to where you are. And sometimes it is like, I can be talking about my day, and if it's too much for the person, they just can't do it. And then I have to remember to myself, whether it's personal or not, they just can't deal with this. They cannot handle whatever. And this is like, compared to what the fuck we really be dealing with. Right? So it's like, if you can't even give me this, I can't talk to you at all about this.
Right.
So then scaling it back again from 90%, 80%, 50%. I'm not, this one now I'm going to talk to you about what?
See, and that's where I am now, and call it whatever, perimenopause or just I'm tired.
Yeah.
I just don't give a fuck anymore. Whatever the case may be.
Yes.
It's, grow with me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then this was, you're part of a chapter in my book. You're
Yes.
not part of the book.
Right.
Right? You're not the whole book.
Yes.
Sometimes I feel like somebody should have been in a completely different book. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't think we do that enough. I don't
No.
think we allow ourselves to have that, you're a beautiful chapter, but this chapter was 3 pages long. Some chapters are 50 pages long.
Yeah.
You know? And some are part of the whole book.
Yeah.
Right? When whatever the case may be, I think that's okay, but people beat themselves up so much, myself included, of why did I invest so much time and energy into this person?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because at that time, based on who I was at that time,
Mm-hmm.
I had my needs met.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I said before, with somebody who was stoic, I'll say that now, they're just stoic.
Mm-hmm.
They're just checked the fuck out, dissociated, and not even there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're not even present.
Yeah.
Right? So that's emotional availability. I'll tell you that now.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, especially after years of chaos and blame and conflict and just emotional abuse, right? Because that's what it adds up to being, right? Whether it's neglect or actually putting you down or just making you question your fucking sanity, whatever that looked like.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't have very many opinions feels like a reprieve.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It feels accepting.
Yeah.
When it's not acceptance.
She takes this whole jacket off. I feel so at
Yeah.
ease. But it's like, I'm going to take the jacket off, but I have nowhere to hang it. So I'm still holding it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But at least there's no pushback.
Yeah.
Right? Over the dumb shit. It's not even like, just literally, the sky is blue. No, it's not.
I was going to say, girl, that it's the at least for me. As soon as we get to the point of just, well, at least it's like, because then we have to be careful with that, because we can use that as a buffer, right, and as a disguise as well, because we're kind of trying to define what makes this thing be so bad. What makes this person not be a good fit for us? Why are they only temporarily in our life for a season? And so we're constantly kind of in that space of what is this significance? I know for sure within, I guess it depends on church you go to, but like Baptist churches, a lot of Black churches, AME churches, they have the saying is the person is in your life for, a reason, not a season.
Mm-hmm.
How it goes?
I've heard that, yeah.
And so with that, then it becomes, I have to keep you around now because you're in my life for something.
Right.
And so sometimes we end up using the things that we know
to find meaning and make it stay.
Yes.
When
so
it doesn't
it needs to be, it's here for something. It's got to be doing something. And again, here's my
but
dad.
why is it not, the something is just, again, this is just me being feisty with some of my clients, right? And just my friends and everybody else. I am feisty. So, I'm like, maybe the universe is just slapping me around some more to see if I'm so stupid.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's throw another lesson your way to see if you're so fucking stupid. Like, let's have you go through the same bullshit again to see if you're still stupid.
Yeah.
There's no other meaning to it than that.
Yeah, that's definitely something my dad does say. And he's like, sometimes things will just be as they are. It's life. So the test sometimes is even, are you going to turn left today? You don't have to be nothing going on. You just have this shit happen. Are you going to do it today? And then you just go about it, and however you navigate is how you navigate it. So, yeah, I mean, there are going to be things, of course, in life where there's meaning to it, and then there are things in life where it's a real test. And then there are some things where it's just going to be, but how are you going to be within there? So that's where, again, where I'm seeing myself of how do I do with this, how do I handle this. I also can tell when my temperament is very different. So someone can do something that would usually be very frustrated, and I don't have that same response at all. And I don't feel it. I don't feel whatever feelings I had before. It's just, okay. And I'm like going about my day. But then, because I maybe was in that part of my life for so long, or for such a period of time, or maybe where they met me or how they've known me has been a particular way for a certain time. But if I've grown past that, it's really hard for them to accept that now.
And I think that's what I was trying to get at with, I tolerated all of that. And I even praised all of that, right? I praised someone's just there, right? Or someone's able to just listen and hold space. But I confused the holding space, right? Because a therapist is not just going to let you talk.
Right. I'm not.
And give no empathy or understanding back, right? I mean, you and I are more directive, so we don't just hold space. We're then teaching you and maybe smacking you around a little bit to be like, let's get back on course with the path you said you wanted to be on. Because what you told me you wanted to be on and where you at ain't the same. I mean, I'm just watching a train wreck happen. And if we're going to watch it, we'll watch it together.
Yeah.
I actually said that to somebody.
Yes.
I'm like, it's natural for you to want to see where this is going to go. Because if you've changed so much in the last year, they must have too. That's where that person's brain is going. Like, I know I've changed. Maybe they fixed their dysfunctions.
Yes.
And I was like, go back to your journals and your notes from this time and reread, because your brain conveniently forgets because you want the fairy tale.
Yes.
Because we do. It's hope. It's wonderful.
Yes.
You want it to work out and you're lonely.
Yeah.
It makes sense. So you want to go revisit, the ice cream shop, thinking it's ice cream, but it's not. It's about to give you some Chinese fucking food. So, right? But that's okay. I'm going to be sitting right here. We know a train wreck's coming, but I'm going to be right here with you.
Just gotta see
I'm going to be watching you right when it happens. And then I was like, when it wrecks, I'm still here.
Yes.
And there's no judgment, and there's no whatever, but it's clear that you really need to see this through. To convince yourself for whatever reason.
Yes.
That this time's going to be different.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And it's that is okay part that I don't think I was ever taught.
Yeah.
I was never taught that, you know what? You got on this train. It's a train wreck about to happen. You know it's a train wreck about to happen, but you have to then continue and just crash and burn and die in the process.
Yes, because you don't let anything go. You can't quit. You have to keep working. You have to put in and keep trying until it blows up. Because you only will know that it doesn't work once it blows up.
But then it's like, what if we were just to take a moment and say, I got on this train because I thought it was going to Paris. And it's not. It's going to Poland instead.
Yeah. Oh my God. So then the delusion is, we're just going to make lemonade out of lemons. That's immediately what happens. So now I'm in Poland. Okay, well, I guess we'll see
But
what's
with all
going
my
on in
Parisian
Poland.
outfits and my heels.
I'm gonna see what's going on out here in Poland. No, get your fucking ass back where you're supposed to be.
Like,
This is not the
get
deal.
off the train, get on the next one, and go back.
That's it.
Right? But we don't.
But we don't, because that's not what we're taught.
No, because then...
And we
for some
don't get
reason-
the grace to do it.
Right, because then what does it mean for me that I got on the train in the first place?
Right. So it has to be purpose. There's still that kind of reason thing there, yeah.
But that's why I'm saying it did. Only the purpose that it served at the time. Right? Just like some people might be like, well, are you delusional? Were you in denial?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't none of that.
Yeah.
That is what my brain mistook
Yes.
it as.
Yeah.
Right? The availability, which I haven't had before.
Yeah.
Right? So if I were to call someone and they pick up no matter where they are, right? No matter if they're in a meeting, it's in a crisis zone, it's in a war zone, it don't matter, they're going to answer. You good? Is everything okay? Right? To me, that was, I'm important, I'm valued, I'm prioritized. But the same person will watch me drown.
Yes.
And be like, did you need me to do something? Did you need anything from me? You want to tell me what you need? Is it a life jacket?
So how is that different? Because I answer every time you call.
Exactly.
So how is it different? What has changed for me to answer every time you call to now I'm watching you drown?
But that's for me to accept that in the beginning stages, right? I wasn't drowning. There was not a point where I would require
That
some
level
of that
for them.
Right.
Yes.
So the minimum that I was seeing, I assigned meaning that, because I will do that, right? If my kids are calling, even though they know not to call when I'm in session, unless it's an emergency. But if I see that they have called, right? I don't keep my phone, but like in between sessions, if I see that they had called or texted, like, I'm gonna tell the next person, hang on, I gotta figure out what's going on, right? Because priority.
Yes.
But that's also, are you getting bullied? Priority. Did you just get your heart broken? Priority. Are you bored and you want to tell mommy about whatever happened in the Swiss mountains with the mama noodles? Priority. You are priority every single time. So that's me assigning meaning, deeper meaning into something based on the surface level investment that I saw.
Yeah.
As the investment went all the way down.
Yes.
Right? Ride or die.
Right. I was going to say it applies across different spaces.
And then when it doesn't, then I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. I feel like that now in my family. It's been a hard reality. It's like, damn, you're really only available to me if I'm in a crisis. So then that means what for me? What does that mean about how do I have this relationship with you now? Because if you can only really, really show up for me if I'm in a crisis.
What about when you have things to celebrate?
I'm not in a crisis. Because I break my ass to not be constantly in a crisis. So when I have celebratory spaces or just chill spaces, I just want to go to whatever. Yes, just be around, be available. But you can't meet me because I'm not in a crisis. And it's like, is that whatever reason, maybe they're constantly living in survivor mode and they don't know how to relax, whatever it is.
Right.
But that becomes, to your point, if I was always over here, and so you're just, bam, you're right on there, peanut butter and jelly. Now I'm eating ham sandwiches. You can't make ham sandwiches.
Right.
So that became a really hard reality for me because I have overgeneralized in that sense of, if you can do this and you can do that.
Right.
But they cannot. So the harshness for me was like, okay, so again, thing that happened has been like, okay, well, this is a big time in my life. I'm having a baby, having baby showers, whatever. And it's just like, I'll see. What the fuck you mean you're gonna see? You want binoculars? Like, what the fuck? You can see. Everything is right here.
Yeah.
So in those times, it's been like, I have to be honest with myself here.
Right.
Because the more that I'm thinking you can make ham sandwiches and PB&J, you can't.
You're showing me that you can't.
I'm consistently disappointing myself waiting for you to do this ham sandwich. That's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So then I take it a step further because my brain is just always going somewhere. So was it really even PB&Js? Was
Probably
I just
not.
kind of getting substituted with something else because it was what I needed at the time?
And when you haven't had that before,
Yes.
right? The copper's gonna feel like gold.
Every time. It feels really, really nice. So it's kind of one of those like, well, that would be really bad. Let's say, I was gonna say a certain brand, but can't do that. Like school fountain water versus like Fiji water. It's like, yeah, school, oh my god, the water's cold, it's good as fuck, oh my god, and then you fuck around somebody give you some Fiji water. You can't go back. It's really hard to see that, know that that's available to you, know that you are worthy of it, that it's also natural to have, like it's okay to have.
Right.
And once you get yourself to a point of being able to have it consistently, whether you buy it or you meet someone that can give it to you or whatever, when you back over here at the school water, it's kind of like I don't really want to do this anymore because it's not serving me. It's not really giving me the thing that I'm really needing.
Right.
But then, so the fixer in me becomes, so maybe I can get you to learn how to make ham sandwiches. Maybe I can get you to come over to Fiji water.
Right.
Oh my god, speaking of, probably over time, but super quick story.
I didn't look.
My aunt is in her 70s. And so my aunt grew up with very different times. She grew up in the country, South Carolina, very, very, very different times. So my aunt comes to my house not too long ago, and she says, hey, can you have some water? Sure. We got Fiji water. So I gave her the Fiji water. We have the water in the fridge, but for guests, we give them the bottles. So I said, you can have the bottle, that way you can, drink as much as you want or whatever. And I give her the water bottle, and she goes, I want regular water. I said, it is regular water. It's water. It literally says water right there. And she's like, no, like, this not flavored water? I said, no, ma'am, it's regular water. And right there in my mind was, she's never had that exposure. So there's only so much that a person can do with what their exposure is. So I've had to think back to relating it to others of I'm having big moments in my life, and it's like if you can't relate to it, you don't know how to respond to it. So rather than being like, oh, this is new for me, okay, I'll try it. My aunt, it's I mean, I thought you was. I mean, you're good. Okay, well, what if I want you to be a part of it? But there's this area of like they just can't. The disconnect for them is so.
The capacity is just their max capacity.
Yeah, but it's
what they can process.
Yes, so there's like there's so much gap in that disconnect where they can see it and it's just like, oh, that's good for them,
right?
And then that's all there is.
And then I get this question, and I've struggled with this question myself. Well, if that's their capacity, who am I to say that's not enough?
Yeah. But that's then it comes. That's why I say what I do now with this relationship.
But that's the thing. That's my point. If it's not enough, it's not enough, guys. It's just not enough, and that's okay. It's okay for you to outgrow someone.
Yeah.
It's okay to outgrow them and then say, this was great for the moment, for where it was. Mm-hmm. It's just now it's not, because it's not meeting my fundamental needs.
Yeah.
Right? It's not just, okay, I'm bored with you, so I'm not tossing you.
Right.
That is not, because a lot of people do that.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, you're just, no one's working on relationships anymore. Everybody's like, thank you, next. And I'm like, no. It's so hard to say thank you, next. Okay, no one's just been like, thank you, next. Divorce, breakups, blah, blah, blah. Friendships are tossed aside.
Right.
No one does that.
Right.
Everyone typically is, I've worked through this. I've tried to rationalize this. I've tried to make this work. I've bent myself into a pretzel to make this work for me. And at some point, I have to just recognize we're not there.
It's just it.
And we can't.
Yeah.
And that's when, I think it's very easy now for me to see the disconnect. It's like you were saying, you're doing the 90%, they're doing the 10, or you're doing 80 and they're doing 20, which is lack of investment. Sorry. I had a moment there. Calm my ass down. And lack of curiosity, which equates to they no longer are able to give a fuck the way you need them to.
Yeah.
And that's okay for you to let that go.
Yeah.
Because staying in that causes you so much more harm.
It does. It's hard to do when there's certain people, of course. So when you're there and it's just kind of like, have you really always been here? And I've just been
allowing it.
Just going with it. Like, oh my God. And the answer is, yeah, they've always been there. And you was there too at one point, but you ain't there no more.
Right.
And then, like you said, sometimes we hope that the person or people come with us, but they haven't done the work, so they don't even know what they're doing. A lot of times they're just there.
And it's impossible. It's impossible in certain relationships because, not everybody is in a position to be able to say, snip, snip, motherfucker, we're going to end this relationship, walk away. If this is a loved one, if this is a parent, if this is a child.
Yeah. Right?
Because I do see that dynamic in parent and child where the child needs to, not children, like adult children, are, they have narcissistic tendencies or abusive tendencies or just harmful tendencies in general. And the parent is having to say, I have waited and waited and waited for that respect. I've waited and waited and waited for that connection, for that love, right? For that investment from my adult children, and I'm not getting it. And saying that I need to stop investing as much as I do. These are all very impossible situations. We make it seem like or sound like, you know what, it's not working, you've outgrown them, just leave. No one can do that with such efficiency. I wish I could.
Yeah, we all do.
Right? Even
be so much smoother.
It would be so much smoother. But if you're trying to be healthy, there's attachments and there's understanding and there's empathy and there's compassion and there's all these, and there's hope. Right? So the point of today's topic, I feel like we went all around the world. We did. But it is all interconnected, right? It is all interconnected. You can't just have this one thing.
No.
But I really wanted to shine light on how we don't acknowledge or accept what served its purpose and why at one
Mhm.
point, and how the same behavior is now not the healthy version you thought it was, and it's actually dysfunction.
Yeah. And you're not being hard on yourself about it. You're not being rude or, oh my god, I can't believe I was here. It did what it was supposed to do. You move it on. It's just like
Grieve. You do have to grieve.
Yeah, you do have to grieve it. You definitely have to, because you're
What
letting
was.
it go. Like you're
Right.
letting it be free,
What
I
was
guess,
and
in
what
a
could have
sense.
been.
Yeah. So it's but again, as always, I tell my clients too, if you want change, then something has to change. Change will not just come because the sun came out today. You have to do something if you want something else to change.
Right.
So you have to. Sometimes you gotta let go.
Because that's the only thing you can control.
Yeah.
Right? We can't control the work or the growth or the effort from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Or interest.
Yeah.
From the other side.
Yeah.
And they're not interested in you if they're not curious about you. It is that simple.
Yeah.
That you look at a child and they're like, why? But why? But why? But why? They're curious.
Yes.
Right? And they're just interest.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm. We should do one